Uncle Bill here from DeadPit Radio, and tonight we're going to take a look at an unsung action classic from Kino Lorber, released originally by Canon Films. This is 1986's Avenging Force. I had never heard of this film. I don't know how I missed it, being a big fan of Michael Dudikoff, and recently watching American Ninja, and there's a lot of American Ninja sequels. Didn't realize how many action movies that he did during his short time in the '80s, but he did quite a few, and I've gotta say that, this is one of the best that I've seen of his, and one of the ones that really took me by surprise because I had never seen it, and I can't believe I missed it. Um, it's the story of a cult of white nationalists almost who uh, are this power sect that hunt down these members of the U.S. government or other people that they deem as being like problems to society. And much like in Surviving the Game or Hard Target or something like that, like there's a crew of them and they all have their different specialties. One of them is like a samurai sword guy. One of them is like a strong man. One of them has got like a crossbow, and the other one is like a underwater expert kind of guy. And they're all a part of this group, and they just hunt down and kill these people. And this group, the Pentangle, I believe is the name of it, come in contact with Michael Dudikoff and Steve James, who's back, is the same guy from all the American Ninja films and made quite a reputation along with Michael Dudikoff for being in these style of action films back in the '80s and early '90s. And um, they kind of figure out like who this society is and what they're doing. And because of it, it also puts them on their radar, and they end up at a parade where one of Steve James' uh, kids are actually killed by the group in a shootout. And it's one of those movies too where like it's really unlike a lot of '80s action movies because in the '80s, like Rambo and all the stuff that was popular, and even stuff like American Ninja that was popular, like there was usually the good guys usually got, away pretty lightly, and they ended up destroying all the bad guys, and not so much in this film. This film is much more kind of realistic in and of the fact that when the cult finds out about, where uh Dudikoff and Steve James are hiding and their family and things like that, they attack them. And I was amazed at some of the stuff in this film because they end up killing like the whole family, including the kids. Like there's small kids involved, and these guys just don't care. They're like the ultimate bad guy, group, the ultimate bad cabal, I guess. And it's just a hard scene to watch where like they gun down like the mother and the kids and everybody in the household. And the only person that really survives out of it is Dudikoff's sister in the film, and she is taken hostage and he has to go, get her. And that's really the only reason that he takes it upon himself to he's been the most cautious one throughout this. And he takes it upon himself after the sister is kidnapped to really go after this group. And I love movies that like have a part in them, like there is in this movie, where like a guy takes on like all of the different specialty guys. So first he has to fight his way through the samurai sword guy, and then he has to fight his way through the strong man, and then he has to fight his way through the kid and like, the guy with the crossbow, and ultimately leading up to John P. Ryan, who plays the lead villain in the film. Does a great job. I think better of a job than in any of other Dudikoff's films. Like he's the best of all the villains that like he's faced. And he's just this incredibly mean-spirited, racist guy who runs this group and who hires out all these, these killers. And he says some stuff in this film that you would never ever be able to get away with now. A lot of racist stuff, and you could never say it like now. The whole film leads to the climax of Dudikoff versus Ryan in this extended fight sequence that goes through all his mansion. It goes from room to room, and it really is like a cool ending sequence in the fight scene. Um, and I got to tell you, just imagine any canon film that you've ever seen, and you can imagine what this film looks like. It looks just like those films. Looks a lot like American Ninja, to be frank, too. Which is not a bad thing. Like, all those films had a particular look that I really enjoyed at that time, and this one's no different. I really enjoyed this film. It's probably one of the best shot and the best kind of paced of all the films. There's a lot of issues that I had with the pacing of American Ninja. There's long stretches where nothing happens, and there's really some bad acting. But in this one, for some reason, the director Sam Firstenberg really had more of an idea of how he wanted this to play out. The pace is good. The action scenes are kind of flow one right after the other. Dudikoff is basically the same. He's like the Clint Eastwoody type, but he's a little bit better in this film than I felt that he even was in American Ninja. Steve James is great as always, and John P. Ryan steals the show as the lead villain, like I said. But I think in all ways, really, it surpasses American Ninja to me. It's better directed, it's better acted, it's got better action sequences. I just think it's a better film, and that's why it's really weird that I've seen that and many of its sequels, but like I've never seen this one. But Kino Lorber's got it out now, and you can go over to kinolorber.com, or you can go over to pretty much any site's going to have it on sale at this point. And there's some special features on here on this particular edition that includes an audio commentary by the director and the star, Michael Dudikoff, an intro by Sam Firstenberg, the director, and an interview with Michael Dudikoff, which I actually did watch, which is a really good interview. It's a long interview where he talks about like his career, how he got started, how this film was made, people talking about like needing, like wanting to do a sequel to this film, um, and just everything in between. It's a great little like interview vignette. Great release. Like these releases like this, like I really am digging, from Kino. The transfer is solid. It's really, really good. The sound is great. There's no problems with the picture quality. It's reasonably priced. Like, there needs to be more companies like this that are releasing these kind of titles, but this is a great release. Avenging Force, if you're in the mood for something that's like Hard Target, but early 80s style with that canon look with Dudikoff in it, this is a perfect kind of film. It's a great action film, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, go over to Kino Lorber and check it out. Check us out over at Dead Pit. Remember to check out the Dudester.
I'd like to tell people thumbs up the video, Uncle Bill.
Would you?
Yes. Thumbs it up with violence and fury and just love everything about it.
You hit the heart button, then you hit the ass button, then you hit the go fuck yourself button. Follow that up with the I don't give a shit button.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last House on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. Do you know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon, Uncle Bill, starting at only $1 a month?
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
We have a literal jukebox full of songs, and thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So deadpitonpatreon.com. Join today. Tiers start at only $1, but I'd recommend at least the $10 tier.
You can do 50. The stock market's crashing around us, folks, but send us money.